Good evening and welcome to the Trading the Tech Show. My name is Derek. Today is Wednesday, February 10th, 2021. Uh, it's been a decent day of trading, not super great, not a whole lot to do today, but it's rolling along. We've got some trades that our auto traders were doing, and it was a pretty good day today. Looking at the Dow Jones was up 61.97 points, so almost up 62 points today. Closed at 31,437.80. Our S&P 500 closed down 1.35 to 3909.88. The Nasdaq closed down 35 points to 13,972, and the Russell 2000 closed down 16 and a half points to 2282. So the Dow was really the shining star of the day. The rest of the indices were pretty much flat or down just a little bit. So it remains to be seen what this week will kind of shape up to be like. It's been a little bit strange. We're setting new highs, like we set a new high on the NASDAQ, and then we backed off of that high, which is not surprising per se. But that's a little bit of a mixed bag for us now. So I guess I guess the Dow is probably really buoyed off of the stimulus package that's being developed, and so I think that that may be contributing to the Dow rising. There's still a lot of interest from speculators and traders right now in the market as well, who are buying into the market. So that may help us continue our win streak in the Dow. So it's pretty strong there. But we're going to go through our charts tonight. We're going to see what kind of direction we've got set so far. Today is Wednesday. We're going into Thursday, so we're kind of on the backside of the week. So we want to kind of see what actually is taking place at this point in time and see where we might go from here. So let's take a look. We have this Aussie CAD Aussie CAD chart up on our screen here. And this looks like it's presenting an opportunity for us now. On the Aussie CAD, we see we're trading above our 720 here. Our 100 and our 50 are kind of converging here at this 98.12 area. So we can actually add a buy order there. So I'm going to right click and go to buy stop there, because buying is our preferred direction. Let me turn that notification down a little bit, because every time I place one of those orders, it actually goes to my cell phone, and then that places a huge notification for me. So all right, great. So so that's our opportunity for the Aussie CAD tonight. Our buy order there. Let's take a look at the Aussie yen. The Aussie yen is presenting an opportunity as well. We're trading above our 720. We've got rate below the 200 moving average, so we can actually drop an order. If you don't want to put it here on the 200, you can actually boost it up here and place it on the 50 or the 100, which are converging in this area, 80.85 area. We can drop an order there as well. So I'm going to go ahead and right click, go to trading, go to buy stop, and drop my order there. It's a little close right now to the 200, so I do kind of want it to, to kind of move in my direction first before it picks me up and throws me into the order. Now, as far as the Aussie New Zealand goes, you can see that our rate is well above our 720 here. All of the moving averages are pretty much near above the 720, except the 200, which is sitting directly on the 720 right now. So because of that, I'm going to go ahead and take this sell stop trade that we placed last night and go ahead and delete it. The rate just didn't come back. So now we're looking at maybe a little bit different situation in the market where we might be moving upwards. So now we're waiting on pullbacks past our 50 or past our 100. At the close of the day yesterday, kind of beginning of the day, we were trading down here below the 50, close to the 100. But because of the spread, we might not have been able to place that order on the 50. So we're still waiting at this point for a move down. As far as the Aussie US goes, now we're trading above our 720 here. We've traded down below our 100 right now, sitting on the 100 EMA here in yellow. So we can drop our buy order here on the 50. So I'm going to go to trading, buy stop here, and drop a buy order there on the Australian US on the 50 EMA. As far as the CAD yen, we have an opportunity here as well. We're trading rate above our 720 still. All the moving averages are above the 720. They're kind of trying to create a trend to the downside. However, the long-term moving averages are above the 720. So I would use, you can use any one of these moving averages right now. They're all very, very close together. So I'm going to pick, this area between the 100 and the 200 and to place my buy stop order. If the rate continues on down and the moving averages continue on down, then this is an order that will probably cancel. If not, and rate goes back, then we'll be placed into the trade. Now, as far as the Swiss yen, we're trading here above the 720. All of the moving averages are in order to the upside. So we did have an opportunity here when the rate came down and touched our 100 here just a couple hours ago, or within like an hour and a half ago. It came down and touched the 100 here. So we could have placed an order on this 50 to buy, and we'd be looking at a profitable trade pretty quickly there. So that's all we'll be waiting for. We'll be waiting for more movement back down past our 50 or 100. Now, as far as our Euro Aussie here, we've continued our little bit of a trek to the upside here. It's kind of been a little bit to the right, but then it's been kind of trekking up, creating higher lows as we go here. We can see that we're trading well below our 720. Our rate is above the 200. And so we're going to be placing an order here to sell, maybe right here on this 200. So we can right click, go to trading, sell stop on the Euro Aussie, right? So, if you want to use a more conservative entry, you can use our 50 or our 100 here below as well. But that's the preferred direction, is to the downside. As far as our Euro CAD here, we're trading well below our 720 here. All the moving averages are below the 720. We see that this is very much trading off to the right here. Yesterday's trading was very much in a tight range to the right. I'll go ahead and draw some lines there. You can see this is kind of like the top of the range here. And this is about the bottom of the range here. All of the wicks and everything are kind of touching that area. So between these two lines here at 5401 and 5385 was like a tight 15 pip range here. Did break out a little bit a couple of times, but 99% of the trading happened in between those lines. So so we'll watch that range and see if it continues to hold. Our preferred direction still is towards the downside though, because our long-term moving averages are towards the downside. Rate is above all of our moving averages, so we can use any one of these moving averages. I'm going to use my 50 here as my selling area. Okay, that's right around the 153.90 area. Euro Swiss, we're trading rate below our 720 here. And then our 100 and our 200 though are still above the 720. So our preferred direction is still to the upside. I'm not going to use the 100 because it's very, very close to my 720. The rate could easily bounce up there and hit the 720, go over just a little bit and then retreat. So I'm going to use the furthest moving average away as my buying point. Now this one may, if the rate continues on down and the 100 jumps over and the 200 looks like it's going to jump over the 720, then we can cancel the order out. There's nothing saying we have to keep the order at that point in time. We just want to be conservative in the way that we enter. As far as the Euro Pound goes, we're trading here below the 720. Moving averages are all below the 720. They're a little bit to the right. We're trading just a little bit to the right. There's definitely some consolidation here. So at some point it might break out one way or the other. We'll keep an eye on that to kind of see what happens. But our rate will be looking for to pass maybe our 50 and our 100, probably here the 100 more than anything, because It's so close to the 100. The 50 and the 100 don't have a lot of separation. So I'd be waiting for the rate to jump back up, kind of like it did yesterday past our 200. And then we could drop our order on the 50 or 100. You see, yesterday we had a great opportunity to gain some pips through that particular trade as well. So we're just looking for that activity again. So it did present us 3 days in a row. We got one here on the 8th. On the 9th, we got another trade back past the 200. On the 10th, we got another trade back to the 200. All of them gave us opportunity to get in on the moving average, either the 200, the 100, or the 50. And we could have made a little bank on that, which is good. Euro yen, you can see that we're trading above our 720 here. Our rate is actually down now past, well, it had passed our 200, but now it's just easing up a little bit. So what we can do is maybe use our 100 as our point to enter. So we're going to go to trading and then buy stop based on the 100. And that will give us some room in case it wants to go off to the upside. We've got some room at least to the last peak up here about the 127 mark. So there's probably a good, maybe 20 pips in that particular trade if we get it. Maybe more if we create a new high, right? Euro New Zealand, you can see that we're trading rate above the 720. And then, so we're sitting right on the 720, but all of our long-term moving averages, most of the moving averages actually are below the 720. So our preferred direction is still to the downside. I do have this sell stop order that we placed last night. I'm going to go ahead and move that sell stop order up. I'll probably drop it here on our 50. I don't maybe want to be too conservative here. I'll go ahead and drop it on the 50. If the rate does jump back over the 720 and it heads back down in the preferred direction, which is to the downside, then we should have a nice move down. Euro US, this one continued on past our 720 here. So we've been trading past the 720, but it kind of towards the end of the day, we did kind of start to come back towards the 720. We've eclipsed our 50 moving average here in blue, but we didn't really trade down too close to our 100. So we want the rate to come down a little bit further. Right now, the 200 is still below the 720, but it's definitely approaching the 720. So I'm not going to place an order here because it's so close to the 720. I don't want it, just the spread or something, grabbing this order when it's really going to go to the upside. So we're going to see if it commits to a move to the downside or if it continues to commit to this move to the upside. We'll just let the chart kind of show us. We're just kind of in a bit of a limbo right now. I don't really want to buy if my 200 is still below my 720 because my preferred direction actually is to the downside. Pound Aussie, we're trading above our 720. All of our moving averages are in order to the upside. And we have, we've got a little bit of a ceiling, kind of a resistance point going on here currently where the price is at now, right around this 179, 17, 18 area or 20 area. We're kind of getting a resistance level there. So we're going to see if we break out above that. And then we'll be looking for any pullbacks towards our 50 or 100. You notice the 100 is still below the 200. So this is trying to set up trend to the upside. When the 100 jumps over the 200, then we'll have a full mature trend, but it'll be very young. And we're going into Thursday. So I don't know if, maybe by Friday this happens, maybe if the rate continues up by tomorrow and we break this, this resistance that we're in right now, or that we're finding at this level, then maybe the 100 will jump over the 200. So we'll have to watch that and see. So we want that kind of to get in order before we place an order to buy. And we'd still need the rate to kind of go up first, create the order for the moving averages, and then retreat back and give us the opportunity to get in on the 50 or the 100. As far as the pound CAD goes, we're trading above our 720 here. We've got a nice kind of trend growing to the upside here. We can see that, we've kind of been heading off to the upside. It's kind of to the right, but then it started on the 9th, started to kind of move with higher highs and higher lows here, just kind of moseying off to the upside just a little bit. Not super, super decisive or anything, but it is moving to the upside according to the way the moving averages are set up. So we want to see if the moving averages will, if the rate will jump down here below the moving averages, below our 50 or below our 100, to see if we can get some areas to buy. We're probably going to have rate jump below the 100. We see that it did approach it at the beginning of the day, but the spread might have been too wide for us to capitalize on placing an order on the 50 there. But it will happen. You look at yesterday, we did get a trade down here to the 100. And so we could have dropped an order on the 50 and that order would have gone profitable very, very quickly. Pound Swiss, we're trading above our 720 here. Our rate is below our 200. And so we're, we'll be looking for orders to buy, maybe on the 50, 100, or 200 here. So our 200's there in the middle. My 50 is there. I can use my 50. I'll go ahead and use the 50 as my buy point here. But our preferred direction is definitely to the upside. As far as the pound yen goes, we're trading here above our 720. And so we're looking for, the rate to come down here. It looks maybe a little bit deeper past the 100 before we buy here on our 50, because right now it's a little bit close. Really depends on what you want to do. If it's not super close for you, then fine. But for me, 4 pips is just going to be a little bit close there. I want to be sure that, this move to the downside is pretty much done and it's really committing to a move to the upside. I don't have a crystal ball that's going to tell me whether it is or not. I can really just look at the chart and see what it's doing currently right now and kind of make a decision. And that's what we go off of. We don't have to agonize over it, really. We just kind of set up the rules that we know what the rules for the strategy are, but we kind of set up our rules and our flexibilities in our head. You can say, okay, in this instance, maybe I'll go ahead and take this particular trade. It's a little bit closer to the ask or a little bit closer to the bid right now, and I'll take this trade. And other times you just look at it and go, you know what, I'm not going to, I've got other trades that I'm putting on or whatever that have better setups than this. I'm not going to force it. So you have that flexibility to kind of make that decision, and it doesn't take all that long to do it. You're going to kind of know after a while. You're going to say, okay, this kind of fits my trading style. This doesn't fit my trading style. I want to be a little more aggressive today. I don't want to be as aggressive today. And that can change sometimes. It can really change according to your psyche. It doesn't have to stay the same all the time. How aggressive you might be or how less aggressive you might be. The only thing is you don't want to tie that aggression in your trading to your wins and losses or to greed or fear. You don't want to tie it to that. You just want to tie it to maybe your gut instinct. What do you feel about it? What's the chart look like? How's it been moving lately? If I look at these candles, have they been big candles or small candles? What's the momentum kind of been like? Is it sharp movements or is it seem to be pretty smooth? That type of thing you kind of get a feel for in the charts. And that's when you make your decision on whether you could be a little more aggressive or you can be a little bit more passive in that situation. That's where it would be. So that's how you would kind of make that decision. So this is, this is something that's not so rigid that, that you don't have decision-making ability, but then it's something that can happen really quickly. You can make your decisions very, very quickly so that you don't have to agonize over your charts forever. As far as the pound US, we've got kind of the same deal. We're trading above our 720 here. We've got a nice smooth kind of trend going here. This is kind of what we like to see as we go. And then we're just looking for pullbacks past the 50 or the 100. We finally got a pullback past the 50. We hadn't had that since February 8th. So, it's been a couple of days where we spent time here, just kind of moseying along well above the 50, which is nice because it's a nice clear trend to the upside. But then now we've pulled back just a little bit. So let's see how this pullback goes. Is it just going to be a small pullback here, or are we going to get a deeper pullback at some point? At some point, we'll get the deeper one, of course, but we'll have to just watch it and see what happens. Right now, we don't have an opportunity to really trade that. What we could look for at this point in time is we've created a high here. So if we create another high here, we go around and test this high and it doesn't break, then we'd expect a movement to the downside, kind of breakout bounce in reverse. I don't even know what to call that really, because it's breakout bounce. It's the strategy's breakout bounce, but it's just doing it the opposite direction. It's not a buy, it's a sell. That we're looking at. So it could be that. I mean, that's something that I might keep an eye on to see whether or not this holds as a kind of a resistance point or ceiling for us at this level up here above this 138.48 mark. And if we bounce up here and we don't kind of break that, then we should trade off to the downside. It's typically what will happen. And we've kind of got an area where this is kind of like it'll roll over. It's not a sharp move back to the upside. It kind of looks like it came down here. It's going to roll over and it's going to give us some space to kind of get into that order. As far as New Zealand CAD goes, we're trading right below our 720. However, our 200 and our 100 are still well above the 720. The 100 is coming down like it wants to kind of test a little bit, but I've got this buy stop order here that was placed based on our, in last night's trading, at last night's show based on our 200, but we can see our 200 has improved. I'm going to go ahead and slide it down and improve this to the 200 where it's currently at. I may not go any deeper than that because I may not want to be so close to the 720. I may not adjust it again. I'll just kind of leave it where it is and let it ride from there. If the rate continues on down, which is very possible, we don't have a crystal ball, we can't tell, we don't tell the future here. But if it continues on down and the rate and the moving averages jump over the 720, we delete the order. If not, we kind of improve the order or leave it where it is and we let it ride and see if the rate comes back to the preferred direction. As far as the New Zealand Swiss, kind of the same situation. Our rate yesterday jumped down below our 720, and now we're trading well below that. Our moving averages, though, are primarily above the 720. So I'm going to take this buy stop that I've got here that was based on our 200, and I'm going to drop that down here, and I'm going to base it on my 100. So this is one of those decision-making things that you do because there's a lot of separation still between the 50, 100, and the 200. There's a lot of separation there. And so the 50 is definitely very close to the 720. The 200 is a little far away. My 100's in the middle. I'll split the difference. It's enough distance for the 100 away from the current 720, where the rate will definitely have to commit before it would place me into that trade on the upside. So that's how I would decide that. Now, as far as the New Zealand yen, we are trading here. Let's go ahead and show you this. We're trading above our 720 still. So upside, all of our moving averages are to the upside as well. They're above the 720. So our preferred direction is still to the upside here. We do have a buy trade that got triggered here at some point as well. We're trading away from that, but our preferred direction has not changed. So if I'm looking to buy here, I'm looking to buy on my 50, my 100, or my 200. As of today's date to improve that order. So, I'm not scared of this order at all because I've clearly got, my trend is to the upside here. All of my long-term moving averages, all of the moving averages actually are still above the 720. So I don't delete the order or I don't, or I'm not going to close that order unless it's absolutely necessary for me to do for a margin purpose or something like that. Other than that, I'm not going to close the order. I'm just going to sit on it and wait. I have to be patient. It's kind of like, you have to go into the mindset of like a stock trader who's not just going to close it just because it's negative. They're going to look at the technical and see, okay, does it still stand or it doesn't? The technical in this situation still stands. New Zealand US, we're trading here above our 720. The rate has jumped down below our 200 here. We're fairly close to it, but I'm going to go ahead and right click because it is New Zealand US and place my buy stop on the 200 itself. And I'd be interested in being a buyer here. So if we go back into that uptrend, then that should pick me up and place me into that order. As far as the US dollar CAD, we are sellers of the dollar. Primarily I did, close that trade last night that I had for a buy that the auto trader signaled because now our circumstance has changed, right? Our circumstance changed. We changed directions for sure. We're going back in the direction of the preferred trend. So this is good. So we've got some opportunities here. We're trading below our 720. Moving averages are all below the 720. My rate now has pulled up close to the 100. I'm going to short on the 50. Trading sell stop on the 50. And then from there, we should be able to go down, right? Let's go ahead and look at the US dollar Swiss. US dollar Swiss, we see that we're trading below our 720. Our 200 though is still above the 720, right? So this order that I have, this buy stop here, was not executed. So I'm just going to improve that order and just sit that right on the preferred direction. It's close to my 720 right now. I don't think I'd improve it anymore. You know, if the 200 jumps over the 720 or jumps below it, like the rest of the moving averages, then I delete the order. But if not, and rate goes back in the preferred direction, which the 200 indicates is to the upside, then, you know, we're in good position to actually reap some benefits from that. So we'll have to see how the week goes. When the Dow Jones, we've got a kind of a negative correlation with the Dow. Typically when the Dow Jones is up, the dollar's falling. So you know, having an up day yesterday. Well, I don't think we were up. I think we were just down like maybe 10 points, but throughout most of the day, we were rising. We dropped to our low before like 10 o'clock. And then from 10 o'clock, like through like 3 o'clock, we were pretty much rising and the bulls were in control. You know, 3 o'clock, 3:30 or so before the market was getting ready to close, then we started to drop off a little bit and we closed down 10 points. And then today, of course, the Dow was up. So that, you know, that activity over the last couple of days has pushed the dollar down. So if the Dow is up, the dollar's down. That's something that we have to remember. You know, it's an easy correlation to kind of remember. Dow up, dollar down. US dollar yen, we're trading right on top pretty much of our 720 here, very, very close to it. Our long-term moving averages are still above the 720. So on a technical basis, we're buyers of the dollar yen above there. I'd place my order here on either this 100 or this 200. And you know, maybe I'd use the 100 here just because I want to be close enough to the price. It just is a feel thing for me here, because if the Dow starts to trail off a little bit, then there's a possibility that we could get an order, you know, to the upside that goes for a few days or so. That definitely could happen. But it's like Thursday going into Friday. I really don't want to like sit on that over the weekend. Who knows what can happen? You know, whether stimulus, you know, there's a couple days left where they can be talking about stimulus. Maybe they go for a vote or something. Who knows what kind of news can come out? Adverse news can come out as well. So I don't really want to be holding the bag on that. So for me, I'm not going to place an order here. But if you're going to place an order, I'd place an order on the 100 or the 200, you know, based strictly on the technical. From a fundamental standpoint, I'm not interested in buying. I think there's still more room in the Dow. I think there's still more optimism from traders. You know, I think at some point we're gonna get a little bit of a retreat. We kind of got that. You know, I think it was last week. We got a little bit of a retreat, but you know, so I think that's going to be a little more frequent as the Dow continues to kind of hit different highs and things like that. I think that's going to be a little more frequent. We get those retreats, so it's not a terrible thing. Just thinking of what the market's doing right now and what it may continue to do, it's not a horrible thing. You know, so, you know, I might take a few buys here and there, but I got burned on the last one. So I'm really not interested in that. You know, I'd rather take the one that I know that what has been the overall trend, you know, so that's just a personal trading decision. If you want to take it based strictly on the technical, you can take it on the technical. For me, just the fundamental, you know, of what I know about what the dollar is doing is preventing that. So I hope you got some good trading ideas. I think we placed a few trades here tonight. We got a few ideas to go on, and throughout the day tomorrow, we should have some more. So I think you guys have some great opportunities. The auto traders are doing well. We've been adding some equity to the auto traders as well. Not as much balance, but we've been adding balance too. Talked with one of our clients today, and he was very, very happy about that. And he's like watching it. Doesn't trade a lot, you know, hasn't traded manually. You know, the auto trader is his first foray into forex trading. So, and he's looking at it, he's like, okay, well, this, you know, I see it bouncing and coming, you know, back a little bit. Sometimes the balance comes down a little bit. I see it go forward, and then he's like, oh, it took a leap forward, and he's seeing the pattern in it. And, you know, like I explained to him, you know, it's not a straight line. We're never going to go in a straight line. We're going to pull back. We'll take a couple steps back, and then we go forward. We take a couple steps back, we go forward a little bit. And as we do that, the balance will continue to grow. Our balances will continue to grow. Our equity will continue to follow up behind that. And then once we get to a certain point in equity and we kind of can like close that gap, then we close everything out and we move on again. So we're always going to take some steps back. We're always going to take some steps backwards, but we're going to be moving the full account forward as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you for your time and your patience. I hope that you're learning some things here. And if I can help you or assist you with anything else, definitely let me know. All right. So this is Derek with iLi Academy. I hope that you've learned some things here tonight, and we'll see you maybe tomorrow. All right. Have a great one. Bye-bye.